Hi guys, happy Friday. I hope everybody's having a good day. I'm going to try to keep this pretty simple and fast because we've all got busy stuff going on. I've got some overly tired kids who are home from Vacation Bible School, so we're going to jump right on in. First, I wanted to start with a few of the tips that I have and some of my favorite products. I file my nails down and shape them before I apply. And then I also will use just a pretty simple cuticle pusher and make sure that all my cuticles are pushed back and out of the way. This is the one that I prefer, but I also have one of these that kind of has this rubber tip, which is amazing when you're applying your thumbs, and I'll show you how I use that here in a minute. And then I've just got some basic cuticle trimmers that I use to clip off all the cuticles that I've pushed back. I also have a file, like little block. It's got a buffer on it, a polish, and a shine. And I predominantly use this if I'm going to be applying a solid or a nail art that's not a glitter nail art. And the reason that I do that is I have a few that have some pretty big ridges in them, and I just like to buff those down so that my solids lay flat. If I'm doing a glitter like I will be tonight, I don't usually mess with it. Then I also have a video up that goes over how I remove them. But I wanted to show you guys, this has become my favorite nail polish remover, and it's just the Target Up and Up brand. It is the Dip It, and inside of it is what I love about it. I'm going to give you a little peek for those of you who aren't familiar. But inside is this little scrub bee bristle brush, and it just makes taking off the nail polish so much easier, especially if it's glitter. Those pieces that just don't want to come off, those brushes really kind of catch the ends of it, and it allows the nail polish remover to get up under them, and they come off a whole lot easier. So I'm going to go through exactly what I do. I will start and I push back my cuticles, I trim them, I file down my nails and make sure that they're shaped how I want them. Then if I'm going to, I will go through and buff them. I don't usually shine them because I feel like the strips adhere better if they're not super slippery. Then, and I'm going to do this now, I'm in my bathroom so that I wash my hands, and I wash them really good because I have oily nail beds. I have a hard time keeping things off. The edges will lift up, and sometimes they'll even kind of come right off if my nails are too oily. So A, my hands will be clean this way, and B, because I know I have oily nail beds, this will help make sure that all those excess oils are off, and I don't have to worry about that. So you got that all done. I'm going to dry them real quick, and then we can get straight to the application. So inside of your pack is everything that you need to apply them. Hey, Caitlin! Inside here, you have your packet of nails. There are 8 strips, and there are actually 2 sets in here. So you have enough. You have 16. The reason that we do that is because some people have long nails, some people have short nails, some people have narrow nails, and some people have wide nails. So we wanted to provide an array of sizes so that everybody can get all 10 of their fingers done, whether they're skinny or wide. If we took out those extra 6 strips, then you'd potentially have 3 nails that don't have a strip that fit them. They are one-time use, so once you open them, they will completely dry out. There is a nail file in here, which is kind of amazing because I have done manicures in the car, not while I'm driving, while either my husband's driving and I'm running behind to something, or in the parking lot right before I go into work, and I don't always have a chance to file down. So that is a handy little thing. And you also get your 2 alcohol prep pads. So first thing you want to do is open this up and I'm gonna wipe down. Again, I have oily nail beds, so I'm gonna really focus on the part where my nail touches my nail bed to make sure that I've gotten any excess oils there, and that will prevent any lifting around the edges. So we want to get longevity out of these nails. Now, we do say that they last up to 14 days. Obviously, that's going to depend on a few things. I type at a computer all day, and I was a stay-at-home mom before, so my hands were always in dishes. I was always doing laundry, and I usually averaged about 12 days, and then I was ready to take them off. And the only reason I was ready to take them off was because my new growth was so bad that it would bother me. But otherwise, I could pretty much have left them on for quite a bit longer if I wanted to. I'm going to give it a second and let these dry. And then there's a little perforated spot right on the side, and you can just pull that right open and pop your strips out. So you have your 2 identical strips of 8, giving you 16 total. Again, they are for immediate use. They are dried to about 95%. And the reason we dry them to 95% is we want them to be pliable enough that you can form them around your nail. And we need that base coat to be tacky enough that it'll adhere. But as you will see, everything else is dry enough that you can immediately start messing with them. I always work from my pinkies to my thumb, and the reason that I do that is because I use my thumbs as my tools. And since that base coat's not completely dry, if I start putting that one on first and then I'm digging around, that base coat hasn't had a chance to adhere to my thumb, and it's gonna push it back and wear it down. So I work pinkies to thumbs. Now, what you want to do is the ends are shaped a little bit different. Some of them are wider, some of them are narrower, some of them are more round, and some of them are more square. So you just kind of want to figure out what shape you need and which one's going to fit. I already know that this one leaves a lot of exposed nail, so I'm not going to use that one. What I am going to use is the second smallest, and it works perfectly for my pinky. There is a clear coat on top, not a clear coat, but like a little cellophane piece. And the top of it is orange, so you know where to peel, and it actually says peel off. So I pull that off. Then you have your nail polish strip and the white cardboard backing. All I do is I take the top of this and I kind of peel it over so that this silver part where the nail polish is pulls away from that cardboard, and then I can just separate them. Now I've got my thin little nail polish strip all ready to go. I don't need this little tab, so I go ahead and just plop mine off and then throw it away because I don't need it. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to line it up, and my goal is to keep it off of the skin and to keep it off of the cuticle, because again, that's where your oils start, and it's not going to adhere to that part, and then your edges are going to start to lift and it's going to get caught on things and could potentially just end up pulling it right off. So I'm just going to line it up, careful to keep it off the skin and off of that nail bed. I just laid it on there. Now I'm just going to take my fingers and I'm push down through the center, through that base, and down the sides, and make sure that it's pressed onto that nail. Now I'm going to take my thumb, and all I'm going to do is I don't want to pull it. If I pull it, it's going to tear, and you could tear it down where your nail is. Also, even if you do tear it right at the nail, after you've pulled it, you've stretched it, and it's going to recede back, and then you're going to have a bunch of your nail exposed. So I just very carefully tuck it underneath my nail, and I use this thumb, and I just push under the nail. And then I push under the nail. I push under it again, and my end pulls right off, and my nail is done. I do have a little bit that got stuck on the skin, so all I'm going to do is again use that thumb, and I'm going to press between the skin and that nail, and then you just scrape it right off. And that nail is 100% done. Then you know what I do with this little guy? I throw him away. He's all done. He's done his job and he is gone. So then I move on to the next one. And I'm gonna find out which one I like. And I tend to like this one. So I'm just gonna pull him right off. And again, I'm gonna peel this clear part off where it says peel off. I can throw that in the trash. And then I pull back this cardboard backing so that the nail polish, that silver part, peels up and away from the cardboard. Pull it to separate it. And then bye-bye extra tab, because I don't need it. I'm gonna stick him in the trash. He's stuck to my finger. Give me just a sec. There we go. Now I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna line it up. Again, trying to keep it off of the skin, off of that cuticle. I push it down through the center, down around the edge, and then we just give it a little extra rub to make sure it's good. Now, another thing that you can do, when I had mentioned in the beginning how this guy is helpful, when I go to do my thumbs, I'll use this to kind of push down around those edges so that I'm not messing up the thumb that I just did, because one thumb's got to be done before the last one, right? And then that just kind of places them on really well. And then I can also use this edge to go along this bottom part like I did with my thumbnail. And I can just push it under, and push it under. And then he's all done. And I didn't have to mess up my thumb. So, this guy, he's done too. I'm gonna do one more for you, and then I'll pop off. If anybody has any questions, feel free. You can comment, and as I see them, I will answer them. And I'll get notifications. So even if I'm not live anymore, I will come back and check and see what anybody's got for me. But I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. All right. This little guy, he usually ends up working really well on my pointer, but I'm trying to do my middle finger. Now, my middle finger is pretty, I'm not trying to flip you off, sorry. My middle finger is a lot more squared than the rest of them. So I tend to like this guy right here because he's a little more squared than these are. Pull off that clear, and then you just peel it back, separate them, pull the little tab off. I'm gonna line them up. I got them on there. Press down through the middle, down through those sides. All right, tuck gently so that I don't pull it and tear it. Push with my thumb. And then I've got some on the skin. So I'm gonna make sure that it's pressed on really good there. Use that thumb. Gently push between the skin and the nail. And he just came right off. No polish on the skin. And look, they are dry. They're not smearing, they're not smudging, they're not moving around. That base coat does need a little bit to finish drying out. So I usually wait about 30 minutes before I put on any lotion, or if I can, I try to wait 30 minutes before I put my hands in water. But let's face it, I have 3 small children. So if someone needs a butt wiped, I'm gonna wipe it and then I'm gonna wash my hands, whether it's been 30 minutes or not. So a lot of times that doesn't happen for me. But it is a good rule of thumb to just kind of wait that extra time just so that nothing gets up and under around those edges before it's had a chance to completely cure. Let's see. Caitlin. Hey, Heather. Caitlin, do you apply a top coat once applied? We saw a vendor at an event and she said that she typically does. Okay, so I do not. And here is the thing. They have a base coat already built in. They have the polish, and they also already come with a top coat. I did try in the beginning to put one on because I had heard that some people do. My experience was this. The whole point of me wanting to do these was because I didn't have time to paint my nails and I didn't have time to wait for polish to dry. I don't have to wait for this. If I put a clear coat on, I gotta wait or it's gonna get smudged. And if it gets smudged, it's gonna mess this up because it's 100% nail polish. Also, the experience that I had is I had tried it on top of a solid and my solid looked really, really good. And then I was like, oh, some people put a top coat on. I'm going to try it. It reacted to the nail polish strip and it started to bubble and it had waves and bubbles in it that it didn't have before. So I don't. I will sometimes, depending on what I'm doing. We have a Clear as Day, which is exactly the same thing, but it's a clear coat. And those packages, you actually get 2 sealed packs together. So you get one package of clear that has 16 strips in it and another package that has 16 strips in it. So you only have to use one package at a time. If I'm doing a solid that I know I really want to keep on for a while, or I'm going to be going to an event, like a wedding or something important, or if I have a nail art design that's not glitter, I will put that clear coat on top. Because I am at my desk typing all day, sometimes the ends wear down and I've noticed that helps. But honestly, I really don't need anything else on top of it unless I just really, really, really want to get some extra wear out of it. Another thing that I will do sometimes, particularly with a nail like this, I'm going to move my phone a little bit so that the lighting's a little bit better. But it is it's sheer, which it always wants to focus on my face and not on my fingers. And if I wanted this to be like a little bit bolder, instead of having some negative space in between the glitters, I might stick an extra coat on top if I had enough left over when I got done, which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Right now my nails are really short, so I could probably get away with doing that, but I kind of like it a little sparingly on the glitter on this one. So those are 2 tips that I use, the Clear as Day, but like I said, I only use that on a really rare occasion if I know that I really, like I was in my friend's wedding last year, and I wanted to make sure that it was going to stay and it was going to last through all the stuff that we were having to do with helping with the rehearsal and setting up the wedding. So I went ahead and used it then. But otherwise, I don't mess with it at all. I don't think it's necessary. And like I said, I don't want to have to wait for that to dry. So that's what I've got on that. You're so welcome. Anybody else got anything for me? I'd happily answer anything. Hey, Deb, how you doing? Happy Friday. Anything? No? Okay. Well, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free, plug them in, and I will come back and check. Frequently, I'm on in the evenings, usually at least 3 nights a week, kind of checking and seeing what's going on. So if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, happy Friday. Thank you guys so much for joining.